Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. I'm going to give you some tools to learn gratitude, okay? And literally, emotions are a vibrational energy. This will be on Dr. BVIP. Also, we started a new channel called True Health Tuesdays with Dr. Bergman on YouTube, but that, I'm telling you, man, the higher up the flagpole, the better target you are. And also, too, if you can help Extreme Health Academy, that's fantastic. If you have any kind of health issues, I'm on there every month doing webinars, but it's incredible. But we are on YouTube, everything else. Gratitude, okay? When somebody is abusing you, unfair, they've taken away your job, your everything, it's just part of change. It's just part of change. And if you're upset with change, you're going to be upset with life. Like Marcus Aurelius said, you can't be upset with wood changing to fire because otherwise you wouldn't have a hot bath. Okay, gratitude opens the door to the power, the wisdom, the creative universe. You open the door through gratitude. Multiple geniuses, okay, sleep and you get inspired, okay, in that relaxed state. Develop an attitude of gratitude and give thanks for everything that happens to you, knowing that every step forward is a step toward achieving something bigger and better than your current situation. Gratitude is the sign of a noble soul. Oh my God, that's a goal. Okay, so you might be part of the psychosis that's been going on. Okay, and I'm talking, why would a country, okay, that used to have a Bill of Rights, okay, now these were supposed to be given to you by God that could never be separated away. It was a good idea. Lasted for a couple hundred years. Okay, but you can't control people that are healthy, independent, or strong. So you have to keep that fear going. And if there's something in the Constitution that is supposed to limit the power of government, you wipe it out. Now, all of this fear is negatively affecting your body. So this means that around the country, people that are afraid of their job, they're afraid of the economy, they're afraid of everything. Their body is an ecosystem. It goes into a stress state to counteract this. Just like the antelope sitting there munching on grass, tiger, okay, instantly the digestion shuts down and they run the heck away. Well, humans in this constant state of fear and anxiety for 2.5 years, and, you know, frankly, if anybody here watch standard media, is it just rosies and sunshine? Okay, no. It's, you know, we got nuclear war pending, you got massive financial crisis, you've got, you know, pending, when's the next lockdown? It's like people are waiting for the shoe to drop. Okay, and it's time we take that back. We stop this stuff because your body is an ecosystem. It's going to respond to these stressors correctly. That means high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol are all correct responses based on a stress. And so look at your immune system as an ecosystem because the entire system of healthcare is dysfunctional. Why? Because we talk about physical, chemical, emotional stress and the body adaptives or adaptive processes to those stressors. Fear-based society. Ask your doctor if this is right for you. Of course, side effects may be, and they go on for 10. And you might think, what's the difference of side effects and effects? Anybody want to know? There isn't one. They're all effects, okay? But for marketing, you have to change that. You know, does this help your ecosystem? Is your body suffering from a lack of medications? Are you not getting enough injectables in your system? Think of your great-great-grandparents. I know they were whacked. They only ate organic. You know, they walked every day, drank fresh water, okay, and they lived over their 90s, okay? So what about this? Is that food or food products that have a shelf life? Is your body going to metabolize this? Because remember, you have an ecosystem. So if we have, knowing that 20% of our population is digestive disorders, if we went up to a wild herd of water buffalo and they had 25% of their herd with digestive issues, are they suffering from lack of Zantac? No, this is an ecosystem. Your body is an ecosystem. It's perfect. It functions correctly. It's like, what can we do to the ecosystem of the Sahara? Do we want to, or to the rainforest? No, it's already perfect. This, oh yeah, go to school, get a job, buy stuff. Yeah, that's not going to cause any stress. This is a system not laid out for our ecosystems. When you look at doing massive monocrop, all you got to do back is look in history that monocrops are a system designed to fail. I did a talk in North Dakota about a month ago, and as far as the eye can see is glyphosate soaked corn. And this is a mineral chelator. It destroys, it's a natural antibiotic. It's monocrop, so that means it's drawing all the nutrients out of the soil. And when I was talking to a senator up there, I said, well, this stuff isn't good for people. It's not good for the land. We have no plan B. Okay, so is this good for our ecosystem? So I had a revelation. I went in and started to look at food forests. And Jeff Lawton, he observed, because I observe this stuff in human beings all the time. Every time I trust the body to heal from some type of disease, okay, which is really an adaptation, the body works. It does. It heals. It's amazing. You eliminate the cause or the interruption in that brain's communication to the tissue cell, and then the body heals. This guy's looking at forest, that there's a natural cycle, that there's a process where trees let loose leaves, it lands on the earth, creates some moisture, creates some mulch, allows little plants to grow. Those plants can create other plants. And I mean, amazing. If you ever, like, if anybody's a gardener in here, because I've always loved gardening, carrots love tomatoes. It's the name of a book. But carrots give off nitrogen. Tomatoes love nitrogen. You can plant it in there, so you're doubling the usage of the garden. It's amazing. So I wanted to see this greening the desert, because I heard he had an amazing process where went to Jordan, 400 feet below sea level, totally salty soil. It's coming horrible. And I wanted to see how he did it. Okay, now this is what I got. Privacy warning. YouTube, owned by Google, does not let you watch videos anonymously. How does that make you feel? Okay, yeah. Okay, so when we look at this, the entire system is not laid out for your ecosystem. It's not laid out for this. This is the editor of the New England Journal of Medicine for over 20 years. It's simply no longer possible to believe much of the clinical research that's published or to rely on judgment of trusted physicians and authoritative medical guidelines. I take no pleasure in this conclusion, which I've reached slowly and reluctantly over my 2 decades as editor of the New England Journal of Medicine. Why? Why does she not trust the literature or trust the public or trust the research coming out of it? Because it's been regulatory capture. We have a system that gives a chemical to alter your physiology. Okay, now everybody, and I'm talking people that are taking 20, 30, the worst person I've ever seen is 32 prescriptions. And I said, okay, you and me were on a deserted island. You have no access to your pharmaceuticals. Try this with your uncle relatives. You have no access to pharmaceuticals. You only have fresh fruit, fresh water, fresh fish, fresh vegetables. Okay, and you're on a deserted island. So how much stress is there? Not much, okay? Would your health improve or decline? 100% say improve, 100%. So this is a criminal system laid out to sell toxic chemicals in order to fund the government. It's crazy. So what we're going to do, we're going to change the system now, because if you're living in this system, you're going to be in line for hell. Okay, you're going to be in line for property going out of reach, or looking at food shortages, gas shortages, and war. Okay, so we need to change that. So all systems have this point of discovery. Oh my gosh, the back of a covered wagon, this guy is selling some snake oil, and it's good for everything. It's good for headaches, migraines, menstrual cycle cramps. Oh no, I'm talking about Tylenol. Okay, so you get that allopathic pathetic model. Okay, and then you find out that you can't keep putting more and more drugs into a human being. It's not conducive to their ecosystem. So you have a challenge. Like, why should I wear this face covering? Who is that protecting? Does that really work? Is there science behind this? So now we're going to change this because this entire system has left us with high disease rates, unhealthy population, economic instability, toxic food, toxic environment, a world in chaos. So we change it first with our minds. As weird as that sounds, like when my kids were little, I would take them around to, like we were bike riding when we were kids. There's a beautiful castle on the beach, and it's actually owned by a friend of mine. At the time, I didn't even know him, but I go in there and I say, look at this castle on the beach. Somebody had to create that in their mind first. Okay. And that's true. That's with the light bulbs. That's with everything. The Wright brothers, were they aeronautical engineers? No, they were bike mechanics. They argued all the time. Okay. And they were the ones that developed the rings, everything. Even the Center for Disease Control and Promotion. Prevention. Okay. 85% of disease are caused by emotion. Why would they make a statement like that? It had to have been before, somebody got fired for actually speaking truth. When you're in a stress state, your body elevates blood pressure, elevates cholesterol, and shuts blood supply down to the gut. So it is a factor. Now, how powerful is your mind? This is huge. When you think of thought, okay, now we talk about emotions, but thought has an energy. And if you focus that energy, it's amazing. Direct mental interaction with living systems. The first question is whether there's any empirical evidence for an effect of a remote intention measured in physiologic changes. The answer is yes. Now, we've got a number of patients who are dog trainers. This one patient is a shepherd. Okay, and literally he would bring a sheep by and I'd set the leg if the sheep had a dislocation. And of course, one of the sheep tried to bite me, and I said, what's the name of the sheep? And this was a reality check for a boy that was born in Burbank. He says, we don't name food. Okay, so I just set this leg on a sheep. Okay, cool. But what he would do with his dog, and his dog would be like, walking around or anything else. Say, watch this. Just think. And the dog would run towards him. And it was amazing. So when we look at this, there is evidence of direct mental stimulation or focused thought create an action. Precognition. Okay. Although claims of precognition have been across human history, there's no surprise that these assertions have been met with strong skepticism. Precognition, the ability to obtain information about a future event unknowable through inference alone before the event actually occurs. I know what you're thinking. Gates. Yeah. No. He's just, well, let's not get into it. Okay, so you look at this. Is there evidence of this? Now, studies have been going on since the 30s of where, somebody will look at a card with a symbol or circle or star. And Gansfield, you literally have half golf balls taped over your eyes. You have a red light. You have white noise in your ears, and somebody is sending you a message. They call them sender and receivers. So there's no electricity. They're in different rooms. What can you see? Because they're looking at an image, and you have to prove it. It's amazing that the mind is, they're studying this. So I want to break you out of this fear cycle of watching CNN, looking at the economy crashing, looking at the whole world, because we can pull this out by using our God-given abilities. Yeah, God-given abilities. Neuroplasticity. Thoughts. Consistent thoughts create consistent neuronal firings in the brain, and that creates new connections. Every religion on the planet's got gratitude. In the Bible, it says, how hard is it to open a door? Anybody know? Oh, you got to knock. Okay. What do you need to get stuff? Oh, you got to ask. It's like, come on, it can't be that easy. Judaism, I will give thanks to the Lord my whole heart. Christianity, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God and Jesus Christ concerning you. Islam, and remember, your Lord has caused to be declared, if ye are grateful, I will add more unto you. I mean, Buddha, let's rise up and be thankful. I mean, it's just that attitude of gratitude creates a whole sense for your ecosystem. Now, neurons that wire together or that fire together tend to wire together. So people with a depressed, anxiety, stressed attitude, which is the majority of the population, if they're watching CNN, okay, or some other media, they're going to come in and say, well, what about the elections coming up? Okay, what about this? What about that? Yeah, I know. Okay, what about it? It doesn't affect us if you change your mind. Okay, the reality is there are going to be challenges. There are going to be food shortages, everything else. But do you want it to negatively affect your health? And how about we create the world? If the mind is so powerful and we can start visualizing a world where we're all living in harmony with our own ecosystem, that we have food that's organic and healthy, and we have people that we elect that aren't shills for some chemical industry that's designed to put chemicals in your system. How about everybody has freedom to decide what's done to their own body? And let's say these rights are inalienable. They can't be separated from you at all. Like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of, just how you want to live. That would be totally cool. So emotions are chemicals secreted in the body. So think of that person that's got anxiety, stress, depression. You can't control the event, okay? But you can control your response, and that totally controls the outcome. And has anybody in here ever had a traumatic event that you couldn't control? Okay, I'm the only one. Okay, good. There's one other person. Thanks for not making me feel alone, man. Okay. Yeah, but what is your outcome? So right now, if the stuff that you can't control is scaring you, okay, if it's causing anxiety or stress, and you're looking for a solution, the solution lies within. Okay, it really does. Getting that peace, understanding that you're a child of God, you've got this energy inside of you that they're just now starting to measure. So forget the events that are going to be happening. Start to build the world inside, because life is easier than it imagines. It's like Jeff Lawton, when he's looking at the ecosystems of the planet, they're designed to live in harmony. They're designed to be effortless. And so is your life on this planet. It's designed to be that way. Now, what if you knew you couldn't fail? So this is where, when we start visualizing, you're going to find a pathway. And a lot of philosophers say life is like paddling downstream. If you feel like you're paddling upstream all the time, that you're working too hard, you're living in disharmony with the world, because it's not supposed to be that way. I mean, before they had organized farming, these Neolithic gardeners would throw seeds everywhere around a lake. Then they'd go follow the animals up north, okay, in the summertime. They would get food, come back down, and the weed would be ready to grow. It was like super easy to grow stuff, So there is no limits on your life, but you got to visualize something amazing. Like if you've just lost your job because you didn't get a shot, okay? And by the way, those people that lost them, they don't get unemployment, so that's a real challenge. Let's look at how the mind is, okay? The mind, conscious mind, that's what you're like speaking or thinking right now. That's only 12%. 88% of the mind is the goal getter. This is the inside portion of the mind. This is the rudder of your mind. And that's what we're going to tap into. But when you tap into this, remember, there's going to be some techniques we're going to be teaching. This whole part is just to make you understand that you are incredibly powerful, that your thoughts actually have an energy, and that can create things. I mean, if you look at all the books, Think and Grow Rich, okay, this is a man who looked at all the industrialists and found out that they all have a mindset. a mindset to change this stuff. So here's one. They had a group of Japanese students that were allergic to something similar to poison ivy. And they put it on one arm, and just for the heck of it, they put a control leaf on the other. 100% of the kids developed a rash on the arm that they put the leaf on. What they didn't tell the students is that they switched the leaves. So they had to suppress a histamine reaction on one arm and express it on another arm that didn't have a stimulus. So that means that the mind can control physiology. You've heard of this before. Okay, here's one. Mental practice and stroke, visualizing. Bam, you've got, say a post-central gyrus, you get a flexion contraction here, an extension here. Okay, so you're not walking real well. What they did, they had these people visualize, sit in a chair, visualize picking up a glass, moving it, wiggling their hand. No, I don't want you to move your hand. Just feel what it's like, okay? But not feel the temperature of the glass. Feel the weight of the glass. Feel the strength of your wrist, the hands grabbing around it. The results support the efficacy of programs incorporating mental practice for rehabilitating affected arm motor function in patients with chronic stroke. These changes are clinically significant, and all they're doing is thinking about it. So thinking about it can change your mind, and it can regrow neurons and change your body. Strength increases from motor program comparison of training with maximal, voluntary, and imaginate muscle contractions. You're imagining it. You're picturing that. And this is the gymnastics, guys. Okay, they're going through their whole routine just in their mind, and they're picturing it perfect. That I've seen intramuscular ENG studies where they put these little needles on their arms, and sure enough, they're not moving their arms, but they're firing off the same sequence that they would be if they're holding the Iron Cross or I mean, amazing. So this is what's going on in your mind when you're visualizing. Your body is absolutely being affected by it. Here we go. You're injecting mice with something that's guaranteed to kill them, 14 to 27 days, 100% death rate. And you have an idea that a human body has a little bit of energy on it. So all you do is hold the mouse for about an hour a day. It didn't die. And you think, maybe I just got special power. So you give it to your assistant, and the mice didn't die. So then you think, maybe it's our thoughts. Okay, so they gave it to a group of students that said, this is a test for gullibility. I just want you to hold this mouse. Okay, I would have a bad attitude holding the mouse. The mice didn't die. And so we may conclude that we are apparently able to cure mammary adenocarcinoma in experimental mice on demand. Wait, so these guys are curing cancer inside of a mouse with just their own personal energy. We've got people regenerating their brain after a stroke by thinking. We've got professional athletes thinking and visualizing changing their physiology. Okay? Why? Because we've got the endogenous pharmacotherapy. Something, your body makes every chemical you want that you require. When you hear the BS of bioidentical hormones, no, they're not identical, and they're not 100% bioavailable, and they do still cause massive effects, but you already got adrenal glands that produce everything you need. Your body is a chemist, it's a pharmacy. It's amazing. Now, neurolinguistic programming is something that we've taught for years. Okay, it's fantastic. But the subconscious that does 88% of it learns through only repetition. So there's no emotion involved in this, but it involves body posture. Why body posture? Well, this changes the influence to the cerebellum, and that controls the frontal lobe. When you're talking brain function, anxiety, stress, depression, impulse control, it's all frontal lobe. Schizophrenia is frontal lobe. Bipolar disorder is frontal lobe. And that's controlled or programmed by the cerebellum. So if you have altered physiology, you're going to have altered stimulus. So body posture, breathing. That little 3-pound brain burns 90% of the body's oxygen, 30% of the body's calories. So how metabolically active is this? It should just blow your mind. It's like, wait a second, that's a 2.5-pound brain, and it burns 90% of my body's oxygen. Okay, I would think that larger muscle groups would do more. Okay, so it's amazing. And there's so much about the brain that we don't know. Volume and intonation. We talk about the I am exercise, I am healthy, I'm dynamic, repeating, repeating, repeating. It works fantastic. We give this to people, and this is in our nutrition report, 10 minutes 3 times a day, because thoughts fall like dominoes. And those thoughts, one thought will hit another thought, will hit another thought, and eventually it will suck you into the pit of hell. So you start talking about, wait, let me think of a dirty word. Europe. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, my son's in Poland. I've got friends going to the Czech Republic. I just had some friends over here from Germany. Oh my God, they're preparing for war. Okay, they're stocking up food on the shelves. They're getting ready to mobilize. I mean, it's dangerous. So if you think that, those thoughts are going to suck you into the pit of hell. But if I say Europe, you could be thinking about that croissant roll from that cafe, looking out over the Mediterranean. Can you smell it? Okay, you pick it up and the outside crunches just a little bit and it's soft on the inside. Okay, that's where we're going to now. Visualize. Okay, knowing that the brain is that powerful, that the brain can create new neurons, that the brain has precognitive ability. It can literally heal the body and heal the brain. And multiple, I mean, just multiple studies around the world. Visualizing a half hour a day, and you can pick morning or afternoon. I pick in the evening because morning, man, I'm up and I'm here. I'm here at 5:45 in the morning, which means I don't want to get up at 3 and have another half hour. I'd rather do it before bed. So visualize. Okay, now what are you going to visualize? First, prayer is good. Okay, so this way you can, clear your mind and ask God for guidance. If you don't understand that, okay, just calm down, deep breathe. Okay, and do a relaxing. So I do it sitting in a chair or laying down, and just act like there's warm water coming up your legs. So my legs are all comfortable and relaxed, and my knees are comfortable and relaxed. And I don't want to do it because I'll fall on the floor. I'll look like a jellyfish. Okay, but you do that, okay, each thing, and you can feel it. And the whole time you're deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. So in through the nose, out through the mouth. Why? Because you're oxygenating that brain. Then picture something. You can picture like a TV screen in front of you. You picture light coming out of your chest, your solar plexus. You can pick a spot meditating in the forearm, the third eye. Just relax. You can't screw this up. Okay, particularly if you're, following and, prayer is good if that's your belief system. And visualize what it's like to be in this place. Now, I started this years ago, like 15 years, 20 years ago now. I had mercury in my mouth. Does everybody in here absolutely love going to the dentist? Do you like that, like, drilling, that skull vibrating, and then the smell of the burning tooth? Okay. Okay. Or does that only freak me out? Okay. So I'm in there, okay, and he tells me he's got 8 hours of work to do, and I'm ripping the handle off, and I'm going, okay, just stress. And I think, wait a second, if I'm in charge of my mind, I don't really need to be going through this, okay? I can be somewhere else. Now, where would I like to go? And I pictured this beautiful boat, okay? And it's anchored in this little bay next to this beautiful little island. And the water is just turquoise blue. And the inside of the boat, I was just working on the computer, it was all wood. And I get to the outside of the then dive in that water. If you've ever dove in the Caribbean, the water is so beautiful and so clear. Then I swam up to the island because I didn't have any of this stuff. About 3 years later, I ended up buying a boat like that. I haven't been to the islands yet. Well, Catalina and stuff. But it was oh my God, do I have time that I could do my meditation now? Do you want to do the other ones? And the dentist was going, no, man, we got to finish today. No, you can. Really, I want to go back. So you can do this. But when you're doing this, it's like I was visualizing like a full schedule with everything else. And that was like too hard. I was forcing it. But to visualize joy and love and hanging with friends or completing a project. Okay, you want to be inspired, this is where the inspiration comes from. Now, when we look at this, Professor Tyler's 40% of the nation's population has reached governmental dependency. When you reach that, and we're looking at about 80% now, okay, with the Social Security, pension checks, stimulus checks, loss of jobs. I mean, we're going through a cycle because democracies only last around a couple 250 years. The first one, okay, because right now, complacency to apathy. You think we're there, or are we at apathy to dependence? Okay, we know with gas at about almost $10 a gallon is going to come up to. From dependence back into bondage. Okay, that's where we're headed. But understanding that it's cyclical. You can't be upset about the storm. Storms never last forever. Okay? They may feel like it. I'm telling you right now, the waves going like this, it's like holy moly. They don't last forever. So then we go from bondage to what? Spiritual faith. Okay, so then we put our strength, we get limitless strength from a power that's greater than us. From spiritual faith to great courage. And that's what I'm getting you to change that mind so we take the step above. So we can have that precognition and see this is the direction that we're going to go. And we can take the world in this direction. Okay, does that make sense? Great courage. Courage to liberty. Liberty requires responsibility. Okay, and we're ready for it. And then liberty to abundance. We're going to get there. Now, do you want to live like there's an intelligence in your body or that your body is just efficient? There is an innate intelligence in your body. It's brilliant. Your body is able to take a banana and an apple and make kidney tissue out of it. There's not a chemist on the planet that could do that. I mean, the health is the natural state of your body. In the old days, you would pay a doctor when you were healthy. You would stop paying him when you're sick because that bastard wasn't doing the right job. Okay? I'd go back to that. Totally go back to that. All therapies must be in harmony with the functions of the body. That makes sense. You don't cut, burn, or poison somebody into health. Oh, put a word in there that I can't say. We'll stop until long-term independent research is completed. Gee, that makes sense. 72 doses of 17 different vaccines, never been tested with each other. Why not? And we just see a 54% rise in chronic illness. Medical schools won't accept funding from this industry because that biases their treatments, that biases their approach. They're not being real doctors. And I got one for you. Hey, how about we eliminate any social media that breaks the narrative? Let's take their licenses away. Oh, never mind. That's already being done. Yeah, you don't want to have a discussion. All healthcare research should be independent. The pharmaceutical industry will be financially and morally responsible for their products. I mean, the same thing that we do with the toaster manufacturer. All humans will be able to choose any healthcare procedures, and that'll be forced on them. God, that makes sense. So we're going to take back our world by taking back our mind. 30 minutes a day, you're worth it, the planet's worth it. We get together, and there have been multiple studies where people have gotten together and they meditated and crime has dropped typically 30 to 40%. So we're going to take that back, and we start it now. Now we're going to get into some stuff that the Ministry of Truth won't allow. If you're watching this on Dr. B VIP, beautiful. It's going to be uninterrupted.